guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So, I just got done peeling, here's the peels, a whole bunch of carrots. And I've got them over there in my two big bowls, soaking in water. I'm getting ready to, well, I'm in the process of canning them. First step, of course, is washing them, then peeling them, washing them again. Now I will drain them all out, rinse them off, and I'll begin cutting them up and jarring them up. So I've got 24 pounds of carrots that I'm processing today, and I've got a whole bunch of carrots in my pantry already that are canned. So today I'm going to do some a little bit different. I'm going to do some glazed carrots. And basically you make a canning liquid made of water, orange juice, and brown sugar, and you can the carrots in those. And it is actually the very first recipe I ever pressure canned years ago. So Mr. Smith absolutely loved these carrots, and so I figure, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and make some more of these because I haven't made them in a while, and I'm just kind of working on filling the pantry. I mean, I did build more shelving, so I gotta fill them up, right? So that is what I am doing today. There's a fly in here. Every time you get the fly swatter, they take off on you. In any case, I'm going to get back to getting these carrots ready. So as I said, next part is cutting them all up and jarring them all up. So the recipe that I'm doing generally uses 6.5 to 7 pounds of carrots, and the end result is usually 6 pints or 3 quarts. I am going to go ahead and wash up a couple extra jars, which is kind of my custom of doing. I've got 24 already, but I'll have a couple extras ready just in case I need a few more. And I should be able to fit most of these in my big old All-American canner and get them all done at once. So we'll see. We'll see if they all fit and how many we end up getting as a result. Alright, you guys, so I have been working on the carrots. Took a bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm almost done cutting them all up and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and get the liquid started. I've got 8 cups of brown sugar, and just remember, I'm doing a quadruple batch, so this is way more sugar than what a single batch would take. Now I'm going to add in 4 cups of orange juice. Right. And then I need to get 8 cups of water. All right. 8 cups of water. So I'm just going to turn on my stove eye here. We'll bring this up to a boil while I finish up with the carrots. Alright, so I have everything ready. I've got all my carrots over here, got all of the stuff that I need. My lids are in a hot bowl of water, and got my canner ready, so it's time to start ladling all of the canning liquid into the jars. I've actually got more carrots than I thought I would, and I may end up having to do another batch of the liquid. I don't think I'm going to get all of these jars into my All-American canner, so I'm probably going to actually have to pull out my my Presto brand pressure canner as well, to do what will not fit into my All-American. I need to get my bigger ladle. This one's not going to cut it. And I'm leaving a 1-inch headspace in these jars. And again, your headspace is the amount of space between the top of the contents, the food and the liquid, and the top of the jar itself. Oh yeah, I'm going to need more. Alright, so I'm removing air bubbles with my little bubble wand here. Now, a lot of these jars, I did the carrots vertical, so there's really not going to be too much air that can be trapped in there. That one needs a little more liquid. Alright, so I'm going to take my damp rag. That's better. So I've got my damp rag here. I'm going to dip it in some white vinegar that I have in this dish here. Wipe the rims of the jar. Put on a lid. Grab a ring. And put it in the canner. And I'm going to repeat this process with all of the jars. Alright, so my All-American canner is finished. So I'm unloading this one. My Presto canner is still going over there. It's a little bit behind the other one. So I think I ended up with somewhere around 31 pints of carrots. Look at this. So now I'm just going to finish unloading this canner here. We'll let everything cool overnight. The other canner, once it's done, I'll set those over on that side. And then tomorrow we'll take off the rings. We'll test all of the seals, make sure they're good, and then wash the jars and label them up. Alright, one more. There we go. They're looking good so far. Tink! I heard that. Alright, so good morning. Got some super bright sunlight coming through the window here. But the carrots are all over here. I have them moved over next to the sink. So I'm getting ready to remove all of the rings. Then I will test the seals, wash the jars, rinse them off, and set them over here to dry. And then I will be labeling all of the jars. So I've got 31 jars of carrots, plus I had some of that canning liquid left over. So I went ahead and I processed that as well. I figure it's just brown sugar and orange juice and water. I could maybe use it for maybe a marinade for a roast or something like that. So I figured, not gonna waste it. We'll find a use for it. Alrighty, so let me get started here. Okay, I am labeling my jars. They're all washed up, and I'm just kind of drying them as I go. I get a lot of questions on how I label my jars, and generally it depends on what it is I have canned. Now I used to write on the lids, but I found it's easier if I have some sort of actual label on the front of the jar, especially if I've got a lot of things on narrow shelves like I do now. I can't really see the lids, so putting it on the front of the jar makes it much easier to see what is in there. Now, if I have canned something very light in color, such as potatoes, white potatoes, I will just take a permanent marker and just write directly on the jar. If I have canned something that's a little bit dark, like these carrots in the glaze, then I just put some tape on there and write on a permanent marker with that. The tape that I just use masking tape or painter masking tape. Frankly, it's whichever roll I grab first. This one in particular, I've had it forever. It's almost gone, but it's made by Scotch, and it's actually got like a pattern on it. It's called Expressions. I don't know if they actually still make this. I haven't found it anywhere other than on Amazon, and it's very limited. But I think I had picked this up at like Office Max or Staples or something like that ages ago. But that is how I label my canned goods. And just to recap this recipe a little bit, it used 6.5 to 7 pounds of carrots, washed, peeled, washed again, and then cut up, put into jars. I made the glaze. The glaze is 2 cups brown sugar, 2 cups water, 1 cup orange juice. You bring that to a boil, reduce the heat, just keep it nice and hot. Ladle that into your jars with the carrots, and you leave a 1-inch headspace above the contents of your jars. Seal up the jars, make sure they're nice and clean and all that stuff. Put the lids and rings on, and they process for 30 minutes at 10 pounds pressure. And that is, of course, for 1,000 feet or less of elevation. If you live at a higher elevation, you'll want to adjust for wherever you live. And I will put a printable version of this recipe on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, where you can print it out if you like. So I'm going to finish up what I am doing here, get all of these labeled and put away, and then it is going to be a work day. I'm going to head on outside and get some work done. So thanks for hanging out with me here in the Homestead kitchen. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.